employee would be a 55-year-old male working in rural Ireland. And last year in 2015, we rebranded the company because we're no longer that incumbent telco that just sells landlines. We're actually a technology company, and our biggest products are broadband and fibre, and we are rolling out the network for a nation. So we're a technology company, and with that there's a perception problem. People don't necessarily want to come and work for Aircom because you think of the old traditional landline company. So when we rebranded, and just beforehand, and this was around the time of the marriage referendum, we really started to look at our diversity and inclusion programme and what was active under that umbrella. And what was active there was really mentoring senior women, making the business accessible for people with disability, and that's as broad as it went. And so we spoke to employees and we looked at the various bodies within Ireland who were very active in the LGBT inclusion space, and that's how we started to work with GLEN, the Gay Lesbian Equality Network of Ireland. And so we attended events, and again, as around the marriage referendum time, so there's a huge amount of interest, energy around LGBT inclusion in the workplace. And so we put the call out to see if there was an interest for an LGBT network, and the interest was huge. And it grew from there. So with us, a perception issue of who AIR is as a business now is being tackled by being active in this community, being active on a number of spaces. We're sponsoring Pride in Dublin this year. And also, we are a technology company, and we want to let young graduates know that this is a viable option for your career. When we go and advertise now, we advertise to a whole different demographic that we wouldn't have advertised before. People are coming to us and seeing that this is actually an inclusive organisation, that there's something for me here. And we're looking at our HR policies, and we've done a huge amount of work to make sure that actually we're meaningfully inclusive for everyone. So there's been a number of levels that this is important. Perception, fighting for talent, because in Dublin, where we're based, where our head office is based, all of the big social media and technology companies have the European headquarters there. We've got Google, Facebook, Twitter, they're all there. We're all fighting for the same pool of talent. We want them to know that we are as good an option for young graduates as Google and the social media options. So there's been a number of areas that our LGBT inclusion work has benefited us.
And one of the things that's really interesting is that who drives change in a company, and in a sense LGBT people have always had to do the heavy lifting for governments, for local authorities and everything to actually make the change. In AIR, was it LGBT people that started that kind of push, or did it come from elsewhere in the company?
I actually think it came from a few levels. So we had a new corporate social responsibility director on our board, on our senior management team. Diversity and inclusion is a pillar of our CSR strategy for AIR. But also there's quite a lot of employees in the company who are active on charities. They work in the LGBT Helpline of Ireland, which is a national charity. There is the interest there, so the timing was right. The marriage referendum has that subject on everybody's minds. And so when we put the conversation to people, and how it initially started was we met with GLEN, and they invited us and our employees to attend an event focused on the business case for marriage equality, and the Taoiseach, our Prime Minister of Ireland, was presenting at that event. And so about 10 employees went, and the interest and the conversation that came from there drove it from those employees, but the interest was already there with the board to do more. So it came from every level, and so I think that's why we have been so successful in creating quite a strong LGBT network within our business. And there are a number of other groups within the business who report into that LGBT network, and who in turn they report directly to our board. We're quite lucky, I suppose, in our company in that we're headquartered in Ireland. All decisions are made within Ireland, and we speak to our board regularly. So we have a very strong senior management support, and there's no struggles then in getting support and sponsorship and engagement from other employees, and this is up there as a board agenda.
It's an interesting thing.